Hey, you watch internet videos? Have you noticed it? Everyone's a critic. That has interesting effects on the video content itself. Layers and layers of skewing, sarcasm, irony, and double irony make it impossible to view anything as honest or accurate anymore. Calculated risk taking in the way content creators present themselves has diversified along with the content itself. Being real simultaneously doesn't cut it anymore and loses traction as an approach altogether. Due to cultural absorption of the concept of the troll, video presenters are slowly breaking themselves from the calculative tiptoeing that comprises the crafting of a sane persona. It is just not worth it. As if people are magically internalizing the cognitive dissonance between not wanting to be lied to and accepting that framing and stylization are lies designed to soothe them. Even though people still like to claim that perceived realness is their main filter for sticking to video hosts. In the saturation of competing content, its creators have to distinguish themselves in different ways. Being relevant doesn't mean being themselves and repeating the most popular content anymore. Nowadays, you have to be in a place where the fringe, the novelty, and the mainstream meet. You have to be edgy. But since today we're flooded with alternatively factual hyper news, everyone, their mother, and their dog's sock account currently has edgy practically carved into their flesh like a scarlet letter. Oh, wait, I mean offensive. Or do I? I mean, every word in every language is relative, but some words are more relative than others. You know, in essence, edgy literally means on the verge of being against the grain. Yeah, that's the beauty of the word edgy. It's one of those most relative words. Somewhat by extension, edgy means whatever you perceive as an unpopular thing that on some level still needs to be expressed. If you like that message or not might depend entirely on might might entirely depend on style and not on substance, and gets pre-selected only through your sympathy filter. You pathetic tribal retard. Let's be fair, most of you don't even know what actually is of substance anyway. By the way, if you are about to get offended, be wary of my awareness of my status as a retard. And be glad, for I will call you a baby instead. A retard baby. Ah, an exponential infringement on your perceived agency. My math is beautiful, but so wrong. For a long time, back when television was still a thing, everyone alluding to a gothy style was widely regarded as edgy. If you're old or Google versed enough, you either know what goths look like, or you can imagine a style that looks like Mad Max and The Crow had a retarded baby. After the 90s, the internet spread really wide, and the image of edginess shifted slowly but surely to that of ominous anonymous trolls. Now that those have merged into the general populace, the edge has moved again. And let's be honest here, Everyone likes to think of themselves as having their mind right at the cusp of the future, as maybe not knowing much, but exactly knowing what comes next. Another fragment of edgy, as in on the edge of tomorrow. And everyone also generally likes to think of themselves as not awkward, even if they say otherwise. And since that anti awkward state that you simply achieve by finding an in group that passively assures your opinions is now pretty much available for everyone, people who even try to speak about uncomfortable things can be eye rollingly pigeonholed as edgy. Edgy people always have made fun of somewhat awkward people. They hijacked a word closely associated with the average reaction to a sports fail video to brand their victims or potential ideological enemies with the label of cringe. You know, awkwardness causes allergic reactions in edgelords. It's pretty much antithetical to them, a little like garlic to classical vampires, ridiculing their alleged victims. They can't help it. It's almost like a biological function. They take themselves kinda seriously. What do you do when everyone has an environment available where they can feel at the cusp of the future, radiate the ability to endure and dispense danger, are inclined to offend other people's apparent weakness, be between novelty, fringe, and mainstream, and see awkwardness as their enemy? So, if the norm is everyone being comfortable in their non awkward state, what is the way to dance on the nerves of that very crowd where defense is full offense? The crowd that is basically built around striving to be untouchable and aggressively nonchalant. How do you out edge the edgy? Well, you simply give them what they want. Awkward people they can make fun of, and they will crack joke after joke after joke until they hit the point where that just isn't fun anymore. All of it gets too real, and all of the edgy trendsetters lose their precious ability to see the awkwardness with humor anymore. Like overloading a supervillain's laser cannon with energy to the point of bursting, and what remains is discomfort and masochistic curiosity.